If your life is anything like mine, we're doing our best to make sure our kids are growing up healthy and happy. But sometimes, no matter how hard we try to protect them, bad things happen, sometimes at the hands of those we trust the most. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 7 boys are sexually abused in our country? And those are just the ones that have the courage to speak up. Abuse knows no social or economic or even racial boundaries. With these statistics, you have to look around and you have to wonder, who's affected by this and how can we help?
I like to start with the old way before Safe Harbor. At that time, when a child disclosed their abuse, they had to go to all of the different investigators' offices. Child Protective Services, the police station where they would talk with a police officer and later a detective regarding their case, the hospital to talk to a nurse and a doctor, and the Commonwealth's attorney. They're asked all of the same questions by at least 5 different people. Imagine, if you will, being a young child at 3 foot tall and walking into the police department and seeing the officer's gun belt at eye level. You're not going to feel very comfortable. Or if you were 3 foot tall and walking down the hall of the sterile emergency room and then receiving a forensic exam. Or if you've been raised to be afraid of the police or social workers, you're not going to feel safe enough to tell your story. Safe Harbor works to bring the child here where it's child-friendly, safe, and comfortable. All of the investigators involved in the case come here. We encourage one interview with an individual that has been trained as a forensic interviewer. The interview is very structured, legally sound, and neutral. The child gets to tell the story in their words.
I'm here with Pam Garrett, the Executive Director of Safe Harbor Child Advocacy Center. Pam, thank you so much for having us in today. Let's find out a little bit about where we are and what we do here.
Okay, I always like to start by bringing people in this room. So this room is probably the most important room because at any given time when we're getting ready for an interview or to even set up for an exam, you will have a Commonwealth's attorney in here, a forensic nurse from Mary Washington Hospital, you'll have Child Protective Services, a detective, a victim witness, and sometimes school personnel if it's important, or a therapist. The Community Service Board has assigned mental health workers with us so that when we feel like it's really important, we have them come to the interview so they can monitor the child and be sure they're okay during the interview. So when they're here, you'll see that up there's the TV screen, and that's where they'll be able to see the child because they'll only talk to one person, not all of these people. When I bring someone in, or a family in, you'll notice as you walk in, the colors are soft and relaxing as soon as you get in here. Because people are coming in here in trauma and crisis, and the child's not only in crisis, but the parent or the non-offending caregiver is in crisis. So the idea is to get them relaxed, to start to feel safe. And many times we'll put the parent in this room, which again, we've got the soft colors and muted tones, where we right away start doing assessments for safety, for domestic violence, for mental health, substance abuse, anything that this family might need help with, we start gathering the information so we'll know how to take care of them through the process. In here, this is probably one of my favorite rooms.
Mine too. This is the coolest I've seen so far.
It's bright and it's happy, and when you look around at the fish, they all have different emotions. What I love is the little ones will come in, and I had one little boy who dropped his backpack, he looked around the room and he swung around, he says, "This is going to be my bedroom." What I've found though in this room and the other room is that the children start to relax, they're playing. Teenagers a lot of times will get caught up in the Wii or start drawing pictures, and sometimes the parents will come back here because they like being back in this room just as much as they do.
It's like it automatically changes your stress level. You know, the colors are very warm, but still very relaxing, very calming. The artwork's fantastic.
We had 2 muralists working with some Boy Scouts that were working on their Eagle Scout project,
Very
and
good.
this is how we got it. So
Awesome.
It's worked out really well. There have been times when the children have come in here and they've been in an abusive situation where maybe they've been physically abused or sexually abused for a long period of time before they've told somebody about it. And we had a case here where the young lady it had been going on for about 3 years, and when the detective got her here, she came back here and we had her sit here while we got things organized for her, and when I came back to get her, she was curled up in the chair, sound asleep. It was just like she was finally safe. She was somewhere where somebody was believing her and somebody was helping her. So instead of waking her up for the interview, we just covered her up with a blanket and let her sleep until she was ready to wake up. As you can see in this room, it's very subdued. There's no pictures on the wall. And we have 2 cameras. There's a camera right there that will point to that chair. There's a camera right here that's focused on this tablet, because part of the interview process almost does like, where do you live, a house, a trailer, or something else, and then they'll do the family, who lives in the family, and then they use anatomically correct, like pictures, not photographs, but pictures. Yeah. And then they go through the process of talking about what they call their body parts. And through this process, and as the team is asking their investigative questions, and it's usually a detective or CPS worker that's doing the interview, they pull the story from the child using their words. And sometimes kids can't say it verbally. Sometimes they need to write it down. Sometimes they need to point, and it's on film, and we have the picture.
Well, thank you so much for taking us here. This was the area that I was most concerned about. Knowing that that child was going to get an opportunity in as non-confrontational, in as comfortable, I guess is the best word that I can come up with, comfortable of an opportunity to share that without distraction, without distortion. And I think you've done a great job of showing us how that works. Safe Harbor is a literal lifeline for kids and families who suddenly find themselves having to deal with sexual abuse or other violent situations. It's a place that allows kids to tell their story only one time in a calm environment with a forensic physical exam and more child-friendly setting, and the ability to connect with a point of contact to go back after the initial investigation occurs. All this is set in a place to help prevent further emotional trauma to the child and those who care for them. Safe Harbor is a real solution to an epidemic problem, a solution that you can be a part of by helping to put the word out, volunteering and donating. Thank you.